Hey, everybody, and welcome to Fascinating Words and Phrases. Yeah, we've got a good one today because we've had loads of comments from people. So thank you very much for the comments. And remember, be nice. Mostly we've had good comments. And one of them was actually a question. Where does the phrase the old bill come from? Why do they call them police in the UK, the old bill? So I tasked Dexter off to go and find out, and I believe he has the answer. So, Dexter, over to you.
Right. Thank you very much, Gareth. It's good to be with you again and chatting about these phrases. And I'm delighted that we're getting questions and comments from our subscribers. So, to answer the question, I'm going to take quite a deep dive because there's lots of different thoughts on where the old bill came from. And if you want to check us out, go to the Metropolitan Police website because that's got some great ideas there as well. And I've drawn a lot from that.
Oh,
But before we actually look at the term the old bill, let's trace where the police came from. Let's go back in time. And it appears that the first, I was going to say legitimate police force, were the Bow Street Runners.
all right.
And this was developed, and I'm looking down to make sure I get his name right. It's Henry Fielding, who was a magistrate, and he also wrote. He was an author. He wrote Tom Jones, the bawdy play or book about this particular character. So he was a magistrate, and he made sure that if people were running away from the court, and the courtroom is still in place, although it doesn't serve itself as a court anymore, is opposite the Royal Opera House in London, which is Bow Street. And so the Bow Street Runners were these force that would run after people to make sure that any fines that were attributed to them got paid. So that's how the police, the Met Police, actually started. And then, of course, we know that the actual founder of the Met Police was Robert Peel, Sir Robert Peel.
That's right.
And from that name, we get a lot of the nicknames for coppers, which is another one which we'll look at. But so peelers were the original ones from Sir Robert Peel. Rozzers,
Bobbies.
again derive from his name.
Yeah. Bobbies. Bobbies is for Bob, short for Robert. Yeah.
Absolutely. And actually, we were chatting about this before. That why does Robert become Bob?
Yeah.
And why does William become Bill?
Bill. Yeah.
And I think we can do some more research on that. So that's where the actual legitimate police force, the Met Police, were created by Sir Robert Peel. And keep your eyes peeled also derives from that. And it's kind of pulling back the onion skins to get to the truth. Yeah. So it's that's all part of it to uncover it. And while I was looking at that, I came across, and this absolutely dates me, about keeping your eyes peeled. There used to be a presenter on television, I think it was ITV, called Shaw Taylor. And this was about the 60s and the 70s. And he was the first presenter who presented a police program called Police 5, where he invited the public to phone in or take part in discovering the crimes and who perpetrated the crimes. And he was known as Whispering Grass, because obviously he had a very gentle tone about him, and the underworld named him Whispering Grass because a grass, again Cockney rhyming slang, grasshopper rhymes with copper. So it all came together, and his favorite phrase was "keep them peeled." So he was inviting the public for the first time on television to take part in that discovery of crime. So let's come to the old bill. Why are the police known as the old bill? Well, it came about because of Sir Robert Peel. that there was an act of parliament called the Bill, obviously, where because they were not uniformed police, they had to prove that they were legitimate. So they actually carried a copy of the Parliamentary Bill with them. And therefore, when they arrested somebody or they were investigating, they had to show the bill. And therefore, they became the Old Bill. Again, this is a point for discussion. I mean, I would love to know what our listeners and our subscribers think about this, because another theory is that the bill is, again, Cockney rhyming slang for Bill and Coo, the boys in blue.
Oh, right.
So it's quite deep, this. Also, at the time of this bill going through Parliament, the king on the throne was William IV. He was the king and was known as Old Bill. Again, that derivation of William becoming Bill. So constables had authority under the crown, and therefore they were known as the Old Bill, like that.
That's amazing. That's an amazing one, because it's like there's so many different possibilities as to why they're called the Old Bill. I mean, it's probably a case of pick your favorite, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
and as I say, right at the beginning, we said the Metropolitan Police website has all of these ideas, and some of them they don't credit at all.
No.
But because there was also was an old Bill, was a crusty old soldier who was
Right.
identified in a cartoon by Captain Bruce, and I get his name right, Bainsfather,
Right.
who had this great big walrus moustache. And of
Right.
course, a lot of the coppers and the men of that time used to wear these big moustaches. And so, again, that was why that old Bill, who was the cartoon character, may have been associated with the police. And a lot of the particular ideas, the London County Council used to ascribe or register all police, fire, and ambulance vehicles under the definition or the letters BYL. So again, it may be because of that. And those kind of terms came out after the 1950s. So it was post World War One.
Yeah.
The last element,
World War II.
I don't want to bore anybody, but this is such a fascinating topic, is the flying squad, which obviously was created to go fast to these crimes. Why were they called the Sweeney? And again, we come back to Cockney rhyming slang, the underworld called them the Sweeney. Again, that Cockney rhyming slang, Sweeney Todd, the flying squad.
Oh, gee whiz. Amazing.
And Sweeney Todd obviously was the demon barber.
That's right.
Who used to kill his customers and put the remains in a pie. So lots of things. And one of the other thing, I love television, and I know you do as well. Or do you? I'm not sure. You don't watch it.
I like a good telly program. I like a good telly program. There's a lot of crap
this
out there
I think
nowadays.
was really good. The Sweeney was a program about the flying squad.
That's right.
John Thor was one of the main protagonists.
He was,
and John Thor then became I can't even think of the right word, but he was associated with the character Morse. And that spawned a lot of police programs as well. So that's the Old Bill.
Wow.
And where did the Met Police come from?
Every time you say the word Sweeney, all I get in my head is yeah. That's amazing. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very, very much there, Dexter. And at any bloke who was the person who asked the question, I hope that answered your question. So yeah, it's very fascinating. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for tuning in, and please feel free to comment, be nice, like, subscribe, follow us. Basically, we enjoy doing these videos and we enjoy discovering these things for ourselves. So if you have a question or about a word or a phrase, then by all means drop it in the chat and we will do our best to investigate it as much as we can. So thank you very much, Dexter. That was really good.
Keep them peeled.
Bye bye.